Welcome back to the channel of Chem Pacific. In this video, I'm going to solve the rest of the problems on Carnot cycle. The first half I've already done in my previous video. Do check it out. Before that, don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. Now let's get started. So the first, the problem number 3 is the conversion of the PV diagram of the Carnot cycle into the TS diagram. Before I proceed, I would like to give you information about the graphical representation. So in any graph, let me tell you students, in any graph, you have one x-axis and one y-axis. Now if this is your y-axis and this is your x-axis, if P is a point having coordinate x1 and y1, it means it will cut the x-axis at x1 and it will cut the y-axis at y1. Now, whenever any line which is parallel to the x-axis, if you consider this line which is parallel to the x-axis, is when y value is constant and a line is parallel to the y-axis, this line, then you have the x value to be constant. Now it is very much clear to us कि जब भी कोई line y is constant होगा, then it is going to be parallel to the x-axis, और जब भी कोई line x is constant होगा, then it is going to be parallel to the y-axis. Now एक Carnot cycle में हमने already study किया है that the first step जो होता है AB step, it is a isothermal step, है ना, and the second step आपका हो जाता है adiabatic step. Again the third step is your isothermal, and again the last step is your adiabatic step. ठीक है, तो पहले हम डिस्कस कर लेते हैं कि कौन सा लाइन कहाँ पे कांस्टेंट होगा, फिर हम ये पीवी डायग्राम को टीएस डायग्राम में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. तो फर्स्ट जो हम ए टू बी स्टेप कर रहे हैं, ए टू बी स्टेप है, तो ये स्टेप हम देख रहे हैं, दिस इज आइसोथर्मल स्टेप. एंड अगेन हम देखेंगे कि स्टेप नंबर 3 जो है, दिस इज स्टेप नंबर 1, this is step number 2, this is step number 3, and this is step number 4. So again step number 3, which is C to D step. This step is also isothermal. Okay, now जब isothermal होगा तो आप जानते हो कंडीशन क्या है, isothermal में आपका हो जाता है T constant and dt is equal to 0. तो अगर आप एक TS डायग्राम ले रहे हो, then if your y-axis is your T and your x-axis is your S, means entropy. ठीक है, तो जो लाइन आपके T कांस्टेंट और आइसोथर्मल कंडीशन में जो स्टेप्स होते हैं, वहां पे वो लाइन आपका क्या हो जाएंगे, वो लाइन आपका T कांस्टेंट होना चाहिए. सो T कांस्टेंट मतलब y-axis कांस्टेंट, y-axis कांस्टेंट में T वही होगा जो आपका parallel to the x-axis होगा. So this is the line which is the first step, which is A and B. ठीक है, तो अभी तक हम लोगों ने BC steps नहीं किए, बाद में करेंगे. And then you have C and D, and therefore this step and this step is isothermal, and also this step is isothermal. and they're represented by a straight line. Isothermal अगर straight line है तो in this case T is your y-axis, so this is definitely going to be parallel to the entropy, which is your x-axis. So as because AB and CD, these two steps, both of them are isothermal, and henceforth T is constant, means y-axis is constant, and then you will get the two parallel lines which are actually parallel to the x-axis, and in this case the x-axis is S. Now let us understand what steps are the adiabatic steps. We have seen from B to C आपका क्या है, adiabatic step हो गया, and also step number 4, which is from D to A, this is also your adiabatic step. सो एडियाबेटिक स्टेप्स मैंने आप लोगों को हमेशा कहा है दैट कभी भी फिजिकल केमिस्ट्री में हम क्या करेंगे, कभी भी कोई लैंग्वेज है उसके साथ हम मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन हमेशा रिलेट करेंगे. जब भी आपको एडियाबेटिक स्टेप्स दिमाग में आ जाते हैं तब आप जानते हो कि dq is equal to 0. Now by from second law of thermodynamics, according to the formula, you have ds is equal to dq by t. अगर वो स्टेप एडियाबेटिक होते हैं, अगर वो स्टेप एडियाबेटिक होगा फिर आपका क्या हो जाएंगे, आपका dq इज इक्वल टू 0 हो जाएंगे, एंड देयरफॉर ds भी आपको क्या हो जाएंगे, विच इज इक्वल टू dq बाई t, ये भी आपको 0 हो जाएंगे. ds 0 होते ही क्या हो जाएंगे, ds 0 इट इम्प्लाइज दैट s इज कांस्टेंट. And what is S? S is the entropy. So S is nothing but the entropy. Now this S is constant. Okay. Now when S is constant, you have TS diagram. So in this case the S, the entropy is the x-axis. So मैंने आप लोगों को already क्या define किया, जब x constant होगा then it is going to be a line which is parallel to the y-axis. तो अभी आपका entropy constant हो गया, तो फिर जो steps आपका है B to C and D to A. The steps are your B to C. So you have this, ठीक है, the steps are your B to C and you have your D to A. So these steps are what? These steps are adiabatic and henceforth they are isentropic process. So isentropic process BC and DA, these are two parallel lines which are again parallel to the y-axis. In this case the y-axis is T. So these two are adiabatic process and also isentropic process. So therefore the steps BC and DA, the steps B to C and D to A are isentropic process. Where the entropy is constant. Now let us draw the complete TS diagram. So in this TS diagram, the y-axis is represented as T and the x-axis is represented as the entropy. Clear? So I have already discussed whenever it is going to be one adiabatic process, it is going to be one isentropic process, and whenever it is going to be one isothermal process, it is going to be a straight line which is going to be parallel to the x-axis, as because in this case the y-axis is represented as a temperature. तो यहाँ पे जो आपका temperature first step जो था, जो isothermal process था, वो हो गया आपका AB, which is a line which is parallel to the x-axis, that is the entropy, and BC, which is the adiabatic process and is also the isentropic process. This is the isentropic process, and the line AB, which was the isothermal, is the line which is parallel to the x-axis. Again, you move from C to D. It is again the isothermal process, and which is parallel to the x-axis, the entropy, and the one which is A to D, which is D to A, is again the isothermal process. Is again the isentropic process. Is again the isentropic process. Isentropic processes are those which are also adiabatic processes. So now you see this curve diagram is now a rectangular diagram, and now it is completely understandable to you, I guess. Now let us move on to the next problem. The given what is the percentage of T1 of T2 or for 10% of efficiency. So I always recommend to my students that whenever any kind of physical chemistry problems are given, you have to do it systematically. The first step you have to do is you have to write the given data. In this case, the information they have given you is the efficiency, which is 10%, which is equal to 10 by 100. Now let us solve this by solution. We know that efficiency formula क्या है? 1 minus T1 by T2. In this case, T1 is the temperature of the sink, which is the lower temperature, and T2 is the temperature of the source, which is the higher temperature. ठीक है? So efficiency उन्होंने पूछा क्या है? What they are asking, they are required to find जो है, they are asking for T1 by T2 percentage. Clear? Now they have now let's solve this. Now see efficiency कितना है? 10%. तो क्या हो जाएंगे? 10 by 100, which is equal to 1 minus T1 by T2. When you solve it, you will definitely going to get that T1 or T sink by T source is equal to 9 by 10. And when you calculate this in percentage, therefore T1 by T2 percentage कितना हो जाएंगे? तो ये percentage में होने से you have to multiply with 100, and the answer is 90%. This is the answer. Now let us move on to the next question. Now in this question, the information they have given you, they're telling you that for an ideal gas during the adiabatic reversible expansion, the plot of the log P versus log V is linear, and they're asking you for the slope. So before I solve this question, मैं आप लोगों को पहले स्ट्रेट लाइन का जो ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन है उसके बारे में कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन देना चाहती हूँ. Basically, a straight line is usually defined by two equations. One is y is equal to mx plus c, and when this type of equation is given, it means it is representing one straight line with a positive slope. It is representing one straight line with a positive slope. In that case, you say that when it is your y-axis and this is your x-axis, ठीक है? In that case, you say your slope is plus m, ठीक है? ये positive direction में जा रहे हैं, and this is your intercept, which is equal to c. And whenever one more equation is there, this is y is equal to minus mx plus c. So whenever it is y is equal to mx plus c, the slope will go downwards. the slope is going downwards. The slope is going downwards, and you have this y-axis and you have this x-axis, and then you say that you are having a negative slope, and it is minus m. Again, the intercept is also c in this case. So you are having, this is, so you can see that a straight line is basically defined into defined by two equations, y is equal to mx plus c. When it is plus mx, the slope is plus m, and when it is minus mx, the slope is minus m. And how they defined, I have already shown you. Now let us see, whenever they have given you, now let us solve this question. They have informed you, क्या कहा उन्होंने, adiabatic reversible expansion of this. So you have, whenever it is adiabatic process, you know PV to the power gamma is constant. Now the next step हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम कर रहे हैं taking log on both sides, we get log of PV to the power gamma is equal to, now let's say this constant be represented as C, is equal to log C. So you know log A into B is equal to log A plus log B. This is equal to log P plus log V to the power gamma is equal to log C. And you know that log A to the power x is equal to x log A. By that formula you can also write that log P plus gamma log V is equal to log C. And the last step is going to be log P, which is equal to minus gamma log V plus log C. So let us name this equation as equation number 1. When you compare this equation number 1 with y is equal to minus mx plus c, you can easily see that this equation number 1 is representing a graph having log p versus log v, where log v is your x-axis and log p is your y-axis. Therefore, if you compare equation 1 with this straight line, you can easily calculate that the slope, which is equal to minus m in equation 2, is equal to minus gamma. So answer, the slope is minus gamma. So this is very interesting problem. Now let us move on to the next question. In a Carnot engine of 200 calories of heat, 200 calories of heat is given to the sink. So when they're telling you that 200 calories of heat is given to the sink, it means the heat is given out, that is Q1, by a reservoir at 27 degrees Celsius. And if the temperature of the source is 57 degrees Celsius and they are asking for how much heat flows from the source, efficiency, and the work done by the reservoir. Whenever this kind of problems are given, I always ask my students to solve it systematically and first of all write all the given data. Before I solve this, one important information I would like to give you, that is, always remember students, this is very important. I have already discussed a lot of time in my previous videos as well. So in thermodynamics, the direction is actually represented by the sign. So whenever, in this case, you have the Q source. So Q source is Q2. Q source is the heat absorbed. So whenever the heat is absorbed, the sign we are going to use is positive, and whenever the heat is given out, that is the Q sink which is equal to the Q1, the sign we use is negative. ये बहुत ज़्यादा important है, हमेशा याद रखना that heat absorbed which is actually in larger amount is represented as positive, that is the direction, and heat given out is represented as negative. ठीक है, because thermodynamics में हम direction they are represented by the sign. Now let us jot down all the given data. Point number 1, they are telling you that in a Carnot cycle 200 calories of heat is given out. So 200 calories of heat is given out मतलब क्या है? Q1. And see, they are telling you the amount, the numerical value is 200 calories. ठीक है, एंड मैं हमेशा आप लोगों को कहती हूँ, हमेशा लैंग्वेज के साथ मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन एंड साइन को रिलेट करना है. सिंस द हीट इज गिवन टू द सीन, heat is given out, the Q1 is minus 200 calories. Clear? Now they're telling you by the reservoir means T1, बिकॉज रिजर्वर जो है सिंक का रिजर्वर का टेम्परेचर दिया है, दिस इज 27 डिग्री सेल्सियस T1, एंड वी नो दैट कैलकुलेशन में हम हमेशा केल्विन में चेंज करते हैं. सो 27 प्लस 273 एंड दिस इज इक्वल टू हाउ मच? 300 केल्विन. तो पहले जब आप सारे डेटा जॉट डाउन करते हो ना, तो आपको प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने में बहुत कन्वीनियंट हो जाते हैं. एंड क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन है? टेम्परेचर ऑफ द सोर्स. तो समझ में आ गया, टेम्परेचर ऑफ द सोर्स इन्होंने क्या दिया? 57 डिग्री सेल्सियस. सो विच इज इक्वल टू 57 प्लस 273 विच इज इक्वल टू 330 केल्विन. तो हम हमेशा टेम्परेचर केल्विन में रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. Now see students, and what they are asking for. So they are giving you the value of Q1, T1 and T2, and what they are asking for. So required to find क्या क्या है? Point number 1, they are asking for how much heat flows from the source, that is the value is Q2. They are asking for Q2, and 2, they are asking for the efficiency, they are asking for the eta, and point number 3, they are asking for the work done. So they are asking for the minus W, and this is the work done by reservoir, by the system, by reservoir. So these are the 3 quantities they are asking for, and these are the 3 data they have given you. Now let us solve the problem. Now by formula we know the efficiency is equal to 1 minus T1 by T2, and which is also is equal to 1 plus Q1 by Q2. Q1 मैं फिर से बोल रही हूँ, Q1 they have given you in numerical value that 200 calories of heat, और आप जानते हो that heat जो है अगर वो given out है वो साइन नेगेटिव होगा, इसीलिए मैंने इसे minus 200 calories ही किया है. ठीक है, सो फॉर्मूला जो है दिस इज eta इज इक्वल टू 1 minus T1 by T2 and 1 plus Q1 by P2. Now let us put all the given data. So they have given you, देखो अभी आप लिख के रखते हो तो आपको कितना इजीली ये सॉल्व होता है. दिस इज 1 minus T1 का वैल्यू कितना है? 300 डिवाइड बाई T2 का वैल्यू उन्होंने कितना दिया? 330, which is equal to 1 plus Q1. Now the Q1 value is minus 200, है ना. तो ये बहुत, यही सबसे important है इस problem में by Q2. So even though they have given you only 200 calories of heat, as because they have informed you that this amount of heat is given out by the system to the sink, जो heat given out is always represented as negative sign. तो हमने इसे इसलिए minus 200 we have written. So अगर आप इसे solve करते हो तो आपको क्या मिल जाएंगे? आपको मिल जाएंगे 1 minus 300 by 330 is equal to 1 minus 200 by Q2. ऐसे ही सॉल्व किया करो स्टूडेंट्स, नहीं तो आप डायरेक्ट यहाँ पे कुछ स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे डायरेक्ट नेगेटिव लिखते हैं तो वहां से सिली मिस्टेक्स होते हैं, क्योंकि अगर वो लोग -200 दे दिए, सपोज कि आपको प्रॉब्लम्स में उन लोगों ने बताया कि -200, तो आप क्या करोगे, ऑलरेडी फॉर्मूला यहाँ पे माइनस है, फिर से आप माइनस करके उसे प्लस कर दोगे तो वो गलत हो जाएगा, तो आप यही फॉर्मूला यूज करो। तो आइदर if they have given you -200, well and good. If they are telling you that 200 calories of heat is given out by the system, then you have to consider is -200. अगर डायरेक्टली दे दे रहे तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं देंगे तो आपको उसे समझ के, साइंस को समझ के पढ़ाई करना है। So now let's solve this question. This is 300 by 330, which is equal to 200 by Q2. Now if you solve the value of Q2, you will find out the value of Q2 will turn out to be is going to be 200 into 33 by 30. 11, this is equal to plus 220 कैलोरीज। देखो स्टूडेंट, इसे ही साइंस कहते हैं। आप जानते हो कि हीट अब्सॉर्ब विच इज द Q2 वो हमेशा पॉजिटिव होगा। जब आपने इसे कैलकुलेट किया है तो आपको ये पॉजिटिव ही मिला है, इसे ही साइंस कहते हैं। जो आप जानते हो वही आपका प्रूफ हो जाएंगे, ठीक है। So this is the first part. We have already calculated the Q2, which is the heat absorbed is, so we have already done that the Q2 which is equal to the heat absorbed, which is equal to plus 220 calories. So we have calculated this. This is the first answer, answer number 1. Now they are also asking you for the efficiency. तो ये तो बहुत easy हो गया। तो efficiency का formula क्या है, 1 minus T1 by T2 and which is also equal to 1 plus Q1 by Q2। आप कोई भी values put down करके कर सकते हो। मैं यहाँ पे कर रही हूँ जो Q1 minus Q2 ये वाला फॉर्मूला मैं फिर से आप लोगों को बता रही हूँ कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, कोई भी ये भी पुट डाउन कर सकते हो, वो भी दोनों ही सेम हो जाएंगे। हम ये फॉर्मूला यूज करेंगे, ठीक है। वहां पे हम Q1 एज बिकॉज दैट इज द हीट गिवन आउट, उसे हम -200 लिखेंगे और नीचे जो हमारा कैलकुलेट हमने अभी किया 220, तो आपको ये हो जाएंगे -200 बाय 220। फिर हम इसे इसके वजह से आपको सिली मिस्टेक्स नहीं होंगे और आपको कंफ्यूजन भी नहीं होगा। तो फिर आपका आंसर आ गया 1/11। दिस इज द आंसर। सो आंसर नंबर 2 भी हमें मिल गया, दैट एफिशिएंसी इज इक्वल टू 1/11। दिस इज द आंसर नंबर 2। Now the last one, what is the work done by the reservoir? So I have already shown you that work done by the reservoir is minus W, and we have already shown you in my previous video. Do check it out, that minus W, the formula, how it is derived as Q1 by Q2. Definitely watch that video, it is going to be very beneficial for you. Now again we know the value of Q1. Since this is very important, Q1 is the heat given out. Heat given out. Q1 is the heat given out, so the value is going to be negative. And how much it is? 220. How much it is? It is 200 calories. Okay, and we have calculated that the heat absorbed. So as we got, it is the heat absorbed. The sign is going to be positive, and how much we have calculated? This is 220 calories. Now let us write the values including the sign. It's 200 plus 220, so it comes out to be 20 calories. So the answer number 3 is the work done by the reservoir is 20 calories. Now the work done is the numerical value is given you 20 calories. Since the work is done by the system, so it is minus. So this is a very important problem, very important problem. ये एक problem से एग्जाम में 3 से 4 क्वेश्चंस बनाए जा सकते हैं. यहाँ पे जो चीज आपको बहुत ध्यान रखना है वो है आपका साइन. यहाँ पे जो साइन हमने यूज किया है वो है एक सिंक सोर्स का, वो भी आपको ध्यान रखना है. उसके बाद ये फॉर्मूला भी आपको बहुत अच्छे से ध्यान रखना है. एंड लास्ट, जब वर्क डन बाय द सिस्टम बताई दिया है तो आपने माइनस डब्ल्यू से किया है. और लैंग्वेज में मैंने लिखा वर्क डन बाय द रिजर्वर इज 20 कैलोरीज बिकॉज 20 कैलोरीज इज द अमाउंट ऑफ न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ वर्क डन एंड सिंस दिस इज बाय द रिजर्वर सो द साइन इज माइनस डब्ल्यू. ठीक है. Now let us move on to the last problem of this video, that is the CSIR-NET December 2017 part C. It means it is consisting of the 4 marks. So this is a very important question. Now let us solve this. 1 mole of, so they have given you n का value है 1. So they have given you 1 mole. क्या gas है? Nature of the gas is ideal gas. Undergoes a cyclic process. This is a cyclic process. From the point A through 4 reversible steps shown. Therefore, the total work done in the process. This is very this kind of problem जो Carnot cycle मैंने आप लोगों को करवाया है, अगर वो आप बहुत अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस करते हो तो फिर आपको समझ में आ जाएंगे कि इस टाइप ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स आप कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे. नाउ से स्टूडेंट्स, टोटल वर्क डन जो है यहाँ पे 4, उन्होंने कहा कि 4 रिवर्सिबल स्टेप्स. सो Therefore, the total work क्या हो जाएंगे? टोटल वर्क डन हो जाएंगे. हम स्टार्ट करेंगे फ्रॉम द स्टेप ए. ठीक है. टोटल वर्क डन होंगे वर्क डन ए बी, उसके बाद क्या है वर्क डन बी सी, उसके बाद वर्क डन सी डी एंड उसके बाद वर्क डन डी ए. नाउ स्टेप नंबर 1 इज द वर्क डन ए टू बी. ठीक है ना. ए टू बी अगर आप देखते हो दिस ये नेचर क्या है, यहाँ पे देखो मैंने ऑलरेडी आप लोगों को बताया वेन एवर अ लाइन विच इज पैरेलल टू द वाई एक्सिस इट मीन्स दैट द एक्स एक्सिस इज कांस्टेंट. सो ए बी इज अ line which is parallel to the y-axis, that is the volume. It means the x-axis, which is the temperature, is constant. Whenever the temperature is constant, you say it as isothermal process. And in this case, what is the temperature? The temperature constant and maintained is T1. So work done in a reversible isothermal process is defined as minus nRT. यहाँ पे T क्या है? T is T1 ln final volume by initial volume. So यहाँ पे इंफॉर्मेशन जो हमें दिया है n का वैल्यू हो गया 1 एंड v फाइनल कहाँ पे रीच किया? v2 से रीच किया है ना. So v final is equal to v2 and v initial is equal to v1. So putting all the values you get minus r t1 ln v2 by v1. Now let us move on to the second step. In the second step, you see what we have already done. हमने किया है from A to B we have done. Now the second step is going to be from B to C. The second step क्या हो जाएंगे? Work done BC. ठीक है, from B to C. Now you see B to C, or rather BC is a straight line which is parallel to the x-axis, that is the temperature. जब ये line parallel to the x-axis हो जाएंगे तो constant क्या हो जाता है? Y constant हो जाता है. In this case, the volume is constant. Volume constant मतलब कोई काम ही नहीं हुआ. Volume constant मतलब neither expansion हुआ ना compression हुआ, कुछ काम तो हुआ ही नहीं. It means that WBC is an isochoric process, मतलब which is having constant volume. Del dV is equal to 0 is an isochoric process. That is 0. Rather, dV is equal to 0. So PdV and dV is equal to 0. So this is an isochoric. So no work is done. Now let us move on to the third step. Third step कहाँ पे हुआ? C से D तक आए. So work done is CD. Now you see C is a line which is parallel to the y-axis. It means in this case the x is constant. In this case t is constant. So again you see C to D is again one isothermal process. isothermal, and in this case the temperature maintained is T2. The temperature maintained is T2. Therefore, the formula is going to be minus R, since N is equal to 1, temperature is T2, ln the final volume. Final volume क्या हुआ? फाइनल वॉल्यूम है, ये है आपका D में फाइनल वॉल्यूम, दिस इज V1 है ना. सो फाइनल वॉल्यूम इज V1 एंड द इनिशियल वॉल्यूम जो C में था, C में क्या था? V2. सो द इनिशियल वॉल्यूम इज V2. सो यू कैन चेंज इट टू R T2 ln V2 by V1. कैलकुलेशन में आप ऐसे कर सकते हो, बट रिप्रेजेंटेशन में नहीं कर सकते हो. वो बहुत अच्छे से मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया है वर्क डन वीडियो में, वो ज़रूर देख लेना. कब हम कैलकुलेशन में यूज़ करते हैं, कब हम रिप्रेजेंटेशन में वर्क डन कैसे करते हैं. द लास्ट स्टेप इज व्हाट? तो आपको C2D हो गया एंड द लास्ट स्टेप इन्वॉल्व्ड इज from D to A. Again you see DA is a line which is parallel to the x-axis. It means the y is constant, and in this case it is going to be V is going to be a constant. So जब V constant हो जाते हैं तो वो हो जाते हैं isochoric process. Isochoric process में dV 0 हो जाए तो minus PdV, so minus PdV मतलब ये work done 0. Therefore total work done जो आपने calculate किया है which is equal to work done AB plus work done BC plus work done CD plus work done DA, जहाँ पे आपको work done DA 0 हुआ है और work done आपका BC 0 हो गया. Now let us write the work done AB. So work done AB is equal to minus R T1 ln V2 by V1 है ना. This, and now let us write down the work CD. This is R T2 ln V2 by V1. This work done. तो यहाँ से जो कॉमन फैक्टर्स हैं हम बाहर लेके आ रहे हैं, दैट इज योर R ln V2 by V1. This is equal to T2 minus T1. So this is the answer. The answer is 4. So I hope this problem is something very much clear to you, and if you have any kind of doubt, do inform me through the comment section. And now let's end the video over here. So students, don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. Thank you for watching our video.